Well, first of all, everybody, I want to say good afternoon. If you love DJ Caesar, I want y'all to do me a favor in the chat. Just show him some love. Show DJ Caesar some love. He got us right, and so we appreciate the DJ who got us in the right mind. Secondly, I need y'all to do me a favor. I want y'all to hold up your signs. Let's show the world on Facebook. Let's hold up our signs. I see you, Rebecca. I see you, Alana. I see you, Felicity. So many signs all over. Brian, I see you. Yeah, let's show the world our love for this brand. Come on, Cindy, I see you. And so, everybody, we're here today to have a very good time. We want to welcome you to this virtual rally. Even though we can't touch each other, the energy is.
But there's 300.
We definitely appreciate all of you. It is literally over 300 of us right here on Zoom, countless of people on Facebook, and we want to say thank you. Over 800 of you are lobbying your legislators this week. It is a big deal all across the state right now. And so one more time, we want to check in to see where you are. So could you type wherever you are? I think I saw some people from Bloomington. I saw some people from downstate. I saw some people from Chicago. I have a great group of people that I want you to hear from, but I want to turn it over to my co-host, one of the greatest MCs, Tonisha, y'all. I want y'all to make some noise from Tonisha. Hold up your signs as she comes, you guys.
Thank you, everyone. So thank you for that wonderful introduction, Reverend Hall. My name is Tanisha Harris. I'm the Illinois Environmental Council's Clean Energy Programs Director and a youth climate activist. If you haven't heard it by now, CEJA can't wait. That's what a lot of young people in the picture behind me was saying back in March. CEJA was necessary before the COVID-19 pandemic, but the pandemic has made its urgency all the more clear. Illinois must provide a just transition away from dirty fossil fuels and invest in overburdened communities. Illinoisans need jobs and lower electricity bills now more than ever. Illinois must address the exacerbating consequences of climate change and become a leader in achieving 100% clean, renewable energy in an equitable fashion. But it must pass CEJA now. One piece of housekeeping before we get started. We are live streaming this rally to Facebook and recording it for people to watch later. At certain points, we'll be showing the crowd with your beautiful signs, t-shirts to show the size of this movement. If you do not want to be recorded, please turn your camera off. All right, our first speaker is Michelle Knox. She owns Wind Solar USA, a small solar business located in Springfield, Illinois.
Hi, there we go. Thank you, Tanisha. Save our solar. I am Michelle Knox. As Tanisha mentioned, I am the owner founder of Wind Solar USA, a renewable energy development company located in Springfield. I started my business back in 2008 with the purpose of helping folks have clean energy options that would allow them to create a level of self-sufficiency and sustainability for their homes and businesses. In 2016, when the Future Energy Jobs Act, aka FEJA, was passed, we saw solar growth skyrocket across the state of Illinois. Jobs were created, and the RPS goal of 25% renewables by 2025 got legs and ran. My American dream vision of building something from nothing was starting to be realized. In 2019, when FEJA was in full swing and fully funded for all market segments, my business saw its best year ever, closing the year off just shy of $2 million in gross sales in comparison to just shy of $400,000 in gross sales back in 2016, an 80% increase in 3 years. In terms of jobs, we increased from a total of 11 employees / subcontracted workers to a total of 23, more than double. Early in 2020, the renewable energy credit funding pot for large projects was depleted. Then COVID hit. This was a double whammy to the renewable industry. As it looks now, I will finish the year about 54% down in gross sales, and my employee / subcontractor count for this year will end at about 10, down 57%. The worst news, the renewable energy credit funding pot for small projects will also be gone in the very near future, leaving the solar industry in Illinois faced with layoffs and, worse yet, business closings. 3,500 jobs have already been lost. We call this the solar funding cliff. We need a fix, and we need it fast. On his 10th day in office, Governor Pritzker joined the Paris Climate Accord. But almost 2 years later, he has yet to support any meaningful climate legislation. It's time to walk the walk and support the Clean Energy Jobs Act. CEJA stands to address the solar funding cliff, to not only preserve the good jobs that have been created by its predecessor, FEJA, but to increase those jobs, help with job training, help with transitioning workers from the coal industry, and to help environmental justice communities impacted most by the fossil fuel industry. Please join me now in asking legislators and Governor Pritzker to hear our plea. We urgently need the passage of energy legislation to fix the solar funding cliff. Save our solar. CEJA can't wait.
All right, y'all, listen, do me a favor. We are close to 400 people in Zoom. Come on, I know I can't hear you, but make some noise wherever you are. We are 400 strong on Zoom and the countless people on Facebook. Let everybody see your signs one more time. Let me hear you say, CEJA, CEJA. That's right, y'all. Let's get to 400 strong. So listen, tell somebody, tweet somebody, text somebody. Yeah, hold them all the way up. I see you, Linda, Virginia. Yeah, I see you, Alana. It's so many of y'all. Yeah, I see you, Connie. So again, one more time, we want to check in. Where are you at? Wherever you are, just type wherever you are. We want the world to know that we are here for one cause and we are unifying under CEJA. Wheaton's in the building, Woodstock, Hanover Park, the West Side, Evanston, Olympia Fields. Y'all, the next voice you're getting ready to hear, she is someone that we should know. We are grateful for her today. She's a founder of the Black Justice Project. I want y'all to turn up your TVs, your radio, your phone for Chama St. Louis. Y'all make some noise for Chama.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Again, my name is Chama St. Louis. I am the founder of the Black Justice Project, a community organizer with the Peoria People's Project, and a board member of Change Peoria. And I'm excited to be here with you today to join the push for making Illinois clean, green, and more equitable. I think we're all here today because we all genuinely care about our communities, we care about our environment, and we care about creating equity in our cities and our state in as many ways as possible. This is why I support a Clean Energy Jobs Act. Equity is an important piece of every piece of legislation and should be the focus whenever we are setting policy and creating laws. When I decided to become a board member of the Sierra Club, I did so because I realized that a large part of my social justice work to build equity was not inclusive of equity in environmental issues. As a Black woman who grew up in poor areas of town and later developed adult asthma myself, I had no idea that this was because I too was a victim of environmental inequity. In my naivety, I thought that developing asthma was just something that happened randomly to me because both my mother and my sister both have pretty bad asthma. I would have never imagined that growing up in a disadvantaged neighborhood most likely contributed to my restricted lung capacity as an adult. This piece of legislation is designed not only to make the environment safer in Black and Brown communities where we are most affected, but it has also been carefully crafted with creating racial equity in mind. CEJA will create thousands of living wage jobs for our state, specifically targeting communities that are populated with low income, Black, Indigenous, and people of color. This includes job preparedness, soft skills, and wraparound services to break down barriers. I have stated many times before that environmental justice is racial justice. I think anytime we have the opportunity as legislators, anytime we have the opportunity as community leaders to come together and move a piece of legislation forward, a piece of legislation that I would argue is one of the most equitable pieces of environmental justice legislation our state has seen in a long time, we should do so. Living in a city here in Peoria, Illinois, where we have high rates of unemployment in our Black community, where we have been rated one of the worst places in America for Blacks to live, and where 1 in 4 residents living in our city lives at or below the poverty level. I am excited to see what CEJA can do for our state, but specifically excited to see how it can impact Peoria residents here, and I am looking forward to seeing this legislation pass. Thank you so much for having me again. It is a pleasure, and looking forward to seeing what we do together around the state.
Thank you, Shama, so much for doing that level setting and telling the urgency behind this. We would like to recognize all of the co-sponsors and sponsors of CEJA who are already fighting to pass the bill. CEJA is the only piece of energy legislation that was written by communities all across Illinois to address the harm caused by fossil fuels in Illinois. And we are grateful to the legislators that have been pushing it since day one. And we have some of those legislators amongst the 400 people here attending today. We would like to thank Representative Michelle Musman, Bob Morgan, Mark Walker, Jaime Andrade, Jennifer Gahn Gershowitz, Tara Costa Howard, Lindsay LaPointe, Will Guzzardi, and Senator-elect Karina Villa, and Senator Dave Keller, and Representative Lamont Robinson. Thank you so much for helping us with this bill. And if we miss any legislators, we will give them a shout out towards the end. Now, if you made a sign, now is the time to hold them up. Look at all, and we can look at all these beautiful signs that people have made, and some of them even incorporate them into their virtual backgrounds. A little shout out to myself. All right, I see Sia, vote CEJA. No more waiting past CEJA in 2020. I agree. Solar for everyone. Yes, yes. Illinois needs clean energy jobs now. I agree. Let's pass CEJA. Oh, with a windmill and a solar panel. Come on, man. Yeah, like what's the holdup? Something good in 2020. CEJA, I love that one. I love that one. Your signs are amazing. Yes, thank you. CEJA can't wait. I agree. Thank you so much for showing off your signs and keep them up. We're live streaming them. We need everyone to see what's going on. All right, now we're going to introduce our next speaker. Tyler Dove is an organizer with Sunrise Edwardsville and the Illinois Sierra Club, and he is a student at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville.
Hey everyone, just as Tanisha just said, I'm Tyler Dove, a senior from Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, and an intern at the Sierra Club and a hub coordinator for the Sunrise Movement. So today I'm just going to be telling a little bit about my story and the impact that climate crisis has had on me and about the urgency of this issue. So as a young person growing up in the floodplains of Eastern Missouri and then moving to Edwardsville for university, I have been spending 23 years dealing with continual flooding that has only gotten worse with every passing year. I think everyone who lives around me has probably heard the phrase, this year is going to be worse than the flood of '93. So I'm from Winfield, Missouri, and if you didn't know where that is, it's okay. It's a really small town along the Mississippi River, right across from Alton, Godfrey, and Batchton. And as for as long as I can remember, we have shared the same fate when it comes to flooding. So as a small child, I can distinctly remember flooding on both sides of the highway as my mom would drive us to get groceries, or having to help my cousins move their things in a hurry because a levee had just broken and they were unfortunate to live on the wrong side of the tracks of Winfield. To later in life, being in high school and having specific days off in spring in order to help sandbag and attempt to help save the city from the worst of the floods. Like the energy and the buzz of the energy from my classmates was a lot, but honestly, we didn't know the consequences or the state that our world was in at that point. So all across the Midwest, we are dealing with record flooding, just like what we are facing here in the floodplains of Eastern Missouri and Western Illinois. And these events have made me stand up and say enough, and have propelled me to make climate crisis work the work of my life. These continual floodings have economically crippled my hometown and many other people's hometowns across the floodplains of the Midwest. Because who would want to start a business in a place where the flooding is only getting worse? In 2019's flooding season, there was more than $6 million worth of damage in Illinois alone, but these floods are happening all across the Midwest. Not to mention, when we talk about the effects of climate crisis, we often do not talk about the small rural towns across the Midwest that are feeding this nation. Scientists have been very clear. We have less than 12 years to get our act together and to cut our carbon emissions. And time doesn't stop ticking. The Clean Energy Jobs Act was introduced 400 plus days ago, and that is way too long. Every day we do not push for a green future is another day that we are complacent with the world being destroyed and for rural farming towns like mine to be forgotten. I just want to say to all the legislators out there that young people are here to demand a livable future, and seeing everyone here is a testament to how much Illinoisans truly care about our environment and the world, and that gives me a ton of hope for my future. The time to act is now, and just like we've all been saying, CEJA really cannot wait.
One more time, y'all, make some noise for Tyler, y'all. We can't wait. Let me hear you. I can't hear you, but say it wherever you are. Say, we can't wait. Come on, say, we can't wait. Hold up your signs and say, we can't wait. Come on, we can't wait. Check it out, y'all. We are 400 strong, y'all. Come on, make some noise. 400 of us. We cannot wait. On Zoom, it's countless people on Facebook. Again, it's so good to see everybody. Central State, downstate, upstate, Chicago. We can't wait. We need CEJA to be passed right now. And coming up is a youth leader from Waukegan, someone to get to know, a voice to be reckoned with. Eddie Flores is on the steering committee with Clean Power in Lake County. I want y'all to turn up your TVs one more time. Turn up your radios for Eddie Flores. Make them feel real good, y'all.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to share the story of 90,000 community members from Waukegan, Illinois. My name is Eduardo Flores, and I am on the steering committee member with Clean Power Lake County. The mission of Clean Power Lake County is to organize within frontline environmental justice communities to shift Lake County to healthy, renewable energy, and to achieve the self-determination of immigrant, low-income, and working-class families. In Waukegan, 1 in 3 children have asthma or asthma-like symptoms. Growing up, asthma attacks were a frequent occurrence, a part of life. Having to stop playing soccer and help friends get their inhalers was always something I hated, but had to learn out of necessity. I never stopped to question why, but always knew an asthma attack was a matter of time. It wasn't until a year ago that one of my friends ended up being hospitalized for 2 weeks because of her asthma that I connected the dots. I am enraged that the local government officials have allowed corporate polluters like Energy to pollute our air, water, and land. While my community has so much to offer and tremendous promise for economic revitalization, it has been hindered by a painful history of industrial pollution and contamination, where corporations made their profits on our lakefront and then abruptly left our community when they went bankrupt or no longer saw profit in exploiting us. With numerous Superfund sites in Waukegan, we know firsthand what happens when we let industries walk away from the contamination they've caused, and we as taxpayers are still paying for those cleanup costs and may continue to do so for the coal plant if state legislators do not take action and pass the most comprehensive and equitable energy legislation, the Clean Energy Jobs Act. For too long, my community and environmental justice communities have been left out of the rooms where policy is written up. Not anymore. I'm calling for leadership from Governor Pritzker to prioritize my community by passing the Clean Energy Jobs Act. This is the only bill that was written by community members, people from Waukegan. We know what our community needs. Governor Pritzker, are you continuing to allow energy to pollute our air, water, and land? Governor Pritzker and our elected officials must take a stand against the legacy of Trump administration's pro-pollution bailouts and corrupt utilities in the interests of communities like Waukegan. Now more than ever, we need to pass CEJA to provide immediate support for communities of color most impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, to put an end to toxic pollution in our backyards, and to hold fossil fuel interests and utilities accountable. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen DeClue. I would like for you to meet my neighbors. To the south, Coffeen coal-fired power plant closed last year. West of me, Shea 1 coal mine, nobody home, closed. East, Deer Run coal mine, they're still here, but for how long? I live in central Illinois in an area surrounded by utility and coal damage. There wasn't a just transition in place for us. when the fossil fuel interests decided to pull up stakes and move on. Without a just transition, families had to breathe coal dust for years, endure contaminated water resources, work with degraded and subsided farmland, and live with constant threat from high hazard coal slurry impoundments. To add to all of this, we have to face now a future with devastated tax base, high employment, and little prospect for future development. There is no legacy fund to cover the damage in coal communities when coal and utility compounds or companies abandon us and go through bankruptcies. 5 years ago, Peabody Coal paid Illinois 17 cents on the dollar. What an agreement. Coal is too expensive for Illinois. The Clean Energy Jobs Act has a plan to make coal pay with a coal severance tax, and CEJA makes utilities accountable too. Ameren and other utilities have fought against regulations limiting harmful emissions of air and contaminated wastewater kind of for decades. Health in communities is a non-profit maker, therefore is ignored. I once asked official utility representative why the warning signs for limiting fish consumption were removed from the Coffeen Lake area. He responded, mercury isn't that toxic and no one eats that many fish. Really? Coal-fired utilities have been fighting clean energy for decades. They have fought against coal ash regulations, efficiency standards, private installation of clean energy. Just recently, Ameren's decision to stop net metering is just another example of protecting its profits, which it does so well. That's why CEJA can't wait. To stop net metering is just another, like I said, example. The Clean Energy Job Act addresses the cost of damage by coal mining and utility profiteering. There will be transitional support for local schools and services, which are so needed, with job training and workforce hubs paid for by the polluter, not the taxpayer. CEJA addresses the needs of communities like mine. Over 15 years, I've attended many meetings related to coal and utilities. I'm tired of meetings. I want action now. We deserve equity and a just transition from fossil fuels. We are your neighbors and you are ours. Please pass CEJA now. Thank you.
Well, everybody, this has been a great day. We had a great rally. We want to once again thank Michelle Knox. We want to thank Shama St. Louis, Tyler, Eddie, and last but not least, Mary Ellen. Could y'all show them some love? And one of the dopest MCs to work with, Tonisha Harris, make her feel comfortable, y'all. Now, look, we got one goal, one mission, and that's to pass CEJA. So for the last time, hold up your signs. Let everybody know that we are about one goal, one mission, and that's CEJA. Everybody holler wherever you are, even though you're muted. CEJA, CEJA, CEJA. And so look, y'all, we're not getting ready to leave quite yet. We got one of the dopest DJs in the land. So hold up your signs, turn up the music, DJ Caesar, and let's go home on a good note. It's all about CEJA, CEJA.